Russ Frushtick, you're here today to tell me about PUBG's third map, which is now out on the test server. What do I need to know about this new map?
Yeah, so it's a very big change. I would say the first biggest change is the size. I guess the smallest change in a way, insofar as it's very small. It's super tiny. It's four.
Do you know how long it takes to run across it?
I'm not sure. I haven't really done that math, but it's 4x4. You can actually see how quickly it. I think if people have played a lot of PUBG, they know how long it takes for like a parachute to fly from one point to the other, and you can kind of see how quickly it is in this map. You really can cover a lot of distance just because the map is so tight.
Are the matches going faster then on this map?
It does seem like that. It seems like everyone is much more sort of grouped together, and matches seem to be playing out really quickly.
Interesting. And it's also a sort of jungle map, which is different from what we've seen before.
Yes. The jungle map kind of feels like a middle ground between the first two maps, insofar as it has the trees and the grass cover of the first map, but it also has the elevation variance of the second map. And it kind of feels like a good middle ground because I think a lot of people were a little bit frustrated by Miramar, the second map, having wide open spaces and no cover.
Yeah, so what's important to me is that I can lie down in a valley in some grass and just not play for the entire match.
Yes, that is definitely an option, assuming that you are geared up with nice verdant green camouflage, because the coat that I was wearing will not cut it, unfortunately. I had a rainbow coat when I was playing.
Wait, do you have fashion recommendations for this map?
Green. We're a lot of green and brown. There actually is a lot of ground cover in this map. Lots of high grass and reeds to hide in. So if you like playing stealthy, there's actually a lot of options. The bushes are even more thick than they were in some of the other maps. So you can definitely hide out for as long as you can manage and do pretty well.
Okay. My number one question is, of course, where should I drop? First time on this map, do you have a recommendation?
Yeah, there's a very large mountain in the northwest that you can drop on that kind of gives you a very good overview of the entire map. It's much higher than any other place on the map. It might be a little bit popular just by nature of it being a good sniper spot, but there's not a ton of loot up there. So if you're playing solo, it should be relatively safe. Once you've sort of experienced that, I would recommend going to the temples. There are, as far as I'm aware, 2 temples. There might be a third, but I haven't seen it yet. And they're very cool. They're also not at all finished. I should mention almost the entire map is not at all finished. You'll find tons of unfinished elements, from completely empty huts that are just square huts to full on this is a gray box with squares on it to indicate that it's an in development thing. It's not even a...
Oh, nice. Perfect. How is it getting around? How is the vehicle saturation?
Yeah, so I've heard some conflicting reports. I personally did not find a ton of ground vehicles. I found a VW, and that was mostly it. I've heard some people say that the ground vehicles are actually pretty... there's a new bike and stuff like that. So there's a few options there.
Wait, so I can still drive a VW bus through the jungle?
Yes. They might change that to another car. I don't know. But right now, there is a VW bus in the jungle.
Carry on.
In the rivers, though, which are kind of the mainstay of this map, there are a ton of boats. It seems like boats are a very ideal mode of travel just by nature of being... The map is sort of split up into chunks by these rivers. It's kind of like Pittsburgh in a way.
Okay.
A lot of rivers, a lot of bridges. And so if you're looking to get around fast, boats are the best option. But obviously these rivers are in the middle of the map, and boats make a lot of noise. So you might very easily get sniped as you're cruising around. It's definitely kind of put a target on you.
Interesting. So we could be having a lot of boat battles in our future. All right. Anything else to add about the new map?
No, the only thing I would mention is I actually think it's much further away than people think. I think a lot of people heard about this new map, remember the testing period for Miramar, which was the second map, and they're like, well, a month later we were able to play it. this could be 3 months at this point. There's a ton of polish that needs to go in. The idea is they're trying to get this map out so that players can test it and give their opinions on balance and loot density and stuff like that. But the map itself right now is like super rough and janky. So I wouldn't necessarily expect like a full product for at least a couple months.
Putting the test in test server.
Exactly.
Hey, all right. Thanks, Russ, for
Sure.
telling us all about PUBG's new map. I look forward to someday playing on it in the very distant future. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and tune into our own PUBG streams happening Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern.